Okay, sorry. This week, I talked to Peter Cameron, who is an excellent songwriter, a very intelligent philosopher, and poet. He's always a pleasure to talk to. He's a good friend. Have a listen to Peter Cameron. Enjoy.
I don't care that you don't care.
Yeah, I don't care.
One thing I would like to discuss though is just a bit of the artist's journey about I would like to discuss your music. Like you've put out 2 EPs, so I'd like to kind of discuss your process of writing those songs, the process, the process of, you choose what you want to discuss, and we'll just kind of let it go. But you don't, like, doesn't have to be just however you want it to go. But I would like to know about the process of writing those songs, and just also like what it was like to do the album release show and release the album and that whole process. Probably more with your second EP, because that one you, that one you did the release at Royal Room, right?
Yeah. It seems like so long ago.
Yeah.
And every time I think about anything I recorded, there's normally a ton of regret that kind of gets in the way of like just thinking about making music.
Yeah.
As far as the process of writing songs, I think you know as well as I. And actually, I heard Ed Sheeran or read a quote from him that songs are just such a strange thing. Like they just come, like they come out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And it's not certain that you'll complete the song when it comes out. Like you might get that verse. You might just get a verse.
Right.
Or you get a hook.
Yeah, no, that's true. I mean, that I can say that's certainly true for me. But one thing that I heard from, I watched this interview with Paul McCartney recently. He said, this is so hard to believe, but I do believe him. Mm-hmm. He said every time him and John sat down to write a song, they finished a song every time.
Yeah, I could see that if I was competing with somebody.
Sure. Yeah.
And I was young.
Right. Yeah.
And in the Beatles.
No. It's so,
in like the most popular band at that time.
And
like,
with the amount of work
too.
that they put out, it's just like it's like, how can you dispute that with the amount of material they put out? But yeah, I agree, and I'm glad you brought up the compete part, because that's one thing that I've always thought was really important for that band. To be as successful as they were, is they were kind of competing. I don't think, and it wasn't like a competing like I'm trying to be better than you necessarily. I think it's more of a competing of I can. I don't know what it was exactly. I mean, how can you possibly know? But what I think it might have been is I can put out more material than you can, and possibly higher quality material in a way. Because I think I think they all knew that Paul was the best musician in the band. And so I think John was older, right? And so it kind of was his band originally. And Paul came in and he's like, oh shit, this guy's an incredible musician.
I gotta dominate him somehow.
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
I gotta kind of like musically mount him.
Yeah. Yeah. And I hope that was actually what he thought. But
unconsciously, he was there.
In a consensual way. He was like,
that's why he wrote Help.
Yeah. Right.
God, I need to mount this guy musically.
Yeah.
Send me something.
Yeah. And it needs to be consensual.
Help. There it is.
Yeah.
I need somebody.
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
Well, I think also they just had it was just a different mentality.
Sure,
I mean, they grew up post World War II.
Right, yeah.
Probably living off rations and growing up in poverty. And I mean, that's some serious motivation right there.
Right, yeah.
It's like, oh, you're going to pay me to write songs? Yeah, I'll finish the song.
Yeah.
Every time.
That's a really good point.
I'm not second guessing or searching for some deeper meaning.
Yeah.
I'm going to write a love song.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
girl, I love you. You look so beautiful.
Yeah.
Your
Yeah.
hair is auburn brown,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm rather dutiful.
Yeah, yeah. Penny Lane is in my ear, in my eye. Yeah. Well, no, that. I think that's a really good perspective, because that very well could have been the mentality when it becomes your job. But I also wonder, because they had that period, where they were in Germany playing for 5 years, right? And they were just really honing in their craft. I wonder if during that time, that's when they were just basically decided, this is our job now. This is what we do all the time. Let's write the best possible songs we can every day, kind of thing. You know, like we go in and we have a cup of tea and start the writing immediately. It also makes me think about, I'm not a huge fan of Jackson Browne, but I remember hearing the story about, the Eagles saying that did they live above him or below him?
Yeah,
Yeah.
one or the other, and he was always on the piano every morning.
Right,
And
yeah.
he would just work
Yeah.
on a song
Yeah.
until it was
Yeah.
finished.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can do that.
Yeah.
I don't know if I
Well,
can
I mean,
personally
especially
do
if it's not your job, right? Yeah, I mean, especially if all the other responsibility, and that's kind of the point of this conversation, to an extent, is how do we juggle all the things we have to do now? Because we do have, I mean, Tim Basaraba is a great example of someone who has so many talents and uses them effectively, and that's why I want to talk to him. Wanted to talk to him.
Yeah.
I'll talk to him again, but how does he manage to juggle all those hats? Same thing with Dave, and even Dave's now kind of getting into a bit of making his characters into videos now. So it's he's adding
really?
more. Yeah, he's kind of evolving into that stage now, which I think will be really exciting. So, but yeah, that's a great point. There's moments where I wonder if that's maybe just how you crack the code. You just say, "This is what I do now every day." I mean, I think it is simple as that. It's just so hard because we have responsibilities. We have things to pay for. We've gotten into routines and we've set our minds in certain ways. But and also, we're at a certain age too, where it can sometimes be or seemingly more difficult to take a risk. To just be like, I'm just going to become a full-time songwriter today, and I'm not going to make any money for 6 months, and then
That's how
after
it
6 months, I'll start making some money, and it won't be much, but yeah,
Yeah, I'll be able to buy some Cheez-Its
right,
or something.
Yeah.
Well, honestly, I think that's how it happens.
Yeah.
That's actually what people should do.
yeah,
I think that's definitely what I didn't do.
yeah,
And it always kind of harped at me.
hmm,
Like just that idea, like I'm not fully committed to it.
hmm,
I think Tim Basaraba is just a good example. He's just a really strong person too.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
he's not afraid. He's rather fearless in some ways.
That's a great point as well. We're really,
'Cause, like-
really rubbing him right now. No, that's a great point. Another thing about him that I always appreciate is just like Jordan, his energy is so contagious too. That's the thing I really like about Tim is he's such an energetic person. And of course I have been around him when he wasn't as energetic, but for the most part, very energetic, and it's contagious. Like I was so inspired by his energy when he was over here. And most of the times when he is, I can only think of one time when he wasn't, and I wanted him to leave.
I didn't say it, but I
Right.
made it abundantly clear.
Yeah, I just opened the door and let the breeze come in.
Don't
no.
you have something going on later, Tim? Didn't you say you had something going on?
No, let's get into just one perspective, of course, my outside perspective of your songwriting, and I think a lot of other people would feel the same way, is like, I don't think anyone knows or perceives you as a person who doesn't put your whole soul into songwriting. I perceive you as that person, actually. So that's pretty surprising to hear. But you're also your own worst critic, so that's understandable. And probably a good thing to make you better and stronger. And, David Goggins would love that about you. But
Stay hard.
yeah. Yeah, so would you mind talking a little bit more about that? Like just and also a bit more about what is your actual process of songwriting?
Yeah. I think I'm definitely my own worst critic. And the process of songwriting, man, it was just like being, I guess, in the right place at the right time. And Inspirato would hit you
Yeah.
at all those weird times, and you never saw it coming, and you just finish the song. But most of the time, that's like maybe 7% of the time, and 93% of the time, you're just beating yourself, or I was just beating myself up by because it's not good enough. I'm not making enough songs.
Okay.
And I'm also really into art, so I'm also digging into the greats and the masters.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, I'm not Beethoven. So
Sure.
why the hell am I even making music?
Right. Yeah. I get that.
I'm not any of these greats. I'm not even close to that. Why would I even bother?
Yeah.
Which I don't think is a good idea.
No. I agree. I mean, it's not a terrible idea to compare yourself, because you might get some inspiration, and it also might push you further. You also might, because I have these fleeting moments where I do a very similar thing. Beethoven is a music god to me, and I've been learning a lot of his works, and maybe not a lot, a handful, and digging into them, and the more I do that, the closer I'm getting. The closer I'm getting to becoming a better musician, for one, from learning it, but also, hopefully, I will start. It'll start coming out of my pores as well, because in learning from him, hopefully, it'll start coming out of my own hands, right? So that's one maybe a positive twist on that very thought. I guess what I'm saying is I don't know that that's a terrible idea. But like I said before, I also do understand being your own worst critic. And I do think I think both of those things can be healthy. But I also think they could have negative connotations as well.
Yeah. Does it even matter that I was comparing myself? Because maybe I'm just hardwired to find something
Yeah.
negative.
Right. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
beat myself up because of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't even really matter.
Sure.
It just happened to be the one thing I could latch on to
Sure.
and
Yeah.
focus on. Because, the flip side of that coin is you could say, I'm going to be better than Beethoven.
Right.
And that could just drive you.
Yeah.
And you
exactly.
could.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
Or we don't live in a time where that's possible.
Right.
I think that's the other thing, too, is historically.
Yeah.
The Beatles are coming around during
Yep.
the whole civil rights movement, like this huge cultural shift.
Yep.
And young people had so much more money that they could spend on records, and created this huge record industry and whatnot, and a market for that stuff.
Right.
But even comparing myself like to Bob Dylan, I mean,
Sure.
like Blowing in the Wind. That's just like that is a perfect song.
It is a perfect song.
It's a benchmark to, I mean, how do you get any better than that? As far as that style of music where you're doing the verse, chorus.
Yeah. You're without a doubt a better singer than Bob Dylan, though. So you have that going for you.
Better than early Bob Dylan?
Yes.
Oh, thank you.
That's
But
my opinion. That's my opinion. Anyone else?
Freewheeling Bob Dylan? His
I
voice
do.
is pretty dope.
I agree. I do. That's my favorite one. I do think, I'm a fan of his voice. I like it. A lot of people don't, which I've always found interesting. But and a lot of people, I've heard of a lot of opinions of like, yeah, I can't listen to his voice, but I know he's a great poet. He's a great writer, and that's so true. And like, if that's the worst thing someone said about me, I think I'd probably be okay with that if someone still appreciated the poetry of the writing. But yeah, Bob Dylan did write some incredible stuff. But yeah, I think going back to Beethoven just briefly, I mentioned having these fleeting moments. I have had those wild fleeting moments where I was like, I can be better. And like I said, they're fleeting, because then I'll those are like wild little dreams, and then I'll come back to reality like, oh yeah, I didn't even play piano today. I failed, like if I really want to achieve that, I need to spend every hour that I have available to play that piano.
Well, and look at Beethoven's life. It was pretty miserable.
Sure.
So you got to live an isolated, miserable life and go deaf. And
Right. and drop my piano, to
And
cut the legs off.
take
right?
lessons from Mozart and Haydn and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah. Which some of those I can't take lessons from them, but I could go deaf, and I could cut the legs off the piano. Um, yeah, and I probably could.
You
do
could wear a
kind
wig.
I could kind of do his hairstyle. I
Yeah.
could kind of do that.
Yeah, you could totally pull that off.
So there are a couple of things that I could get pretty close to.
Could
So
wear those neckerchiefs or whatever it
yeah,
is they had going on.
yeah. Those I think that was a good style.
Just furrow your brow all the
Yeah,
time.
I like that style. Although just in general, I'm not a huge fan of having stuff around. Like I've never really liked wearing ties. I never felt comfortable.
Really?
I especially hate buttoning the top button.
Hmm.
I'll do it to be funny, but I like to be serious. Like it's too constricting. I really don't like it.
I mean, do your shirts fit well, or is it's just always kind of tight, or is it just that top?
I think
that
it's just,
button
yeah,
is
I
just
think
like
it's just
symbolic.
knowing something's around there. I used to wear necklaces, but I haven't worn a necklace in a good 10 or more years. And I think it's just, yeah, I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. I think maybe
You grew
I
up?
think I
I
had
grew up.
I think I grew up,
Like, why
but
am I wearing
maybe
necklaces?
I also went, yeah, that's a good point. Also
Puka shells? Where's puka shells? Come on.
maybe I had an ancestor.
I had
who-
puka shells. Did you have puka shells? It was like,
No, I don't.
that was high school or middle
I
school
did
or something.
I had the hemp necklace.
Mm.
That's what I did.
With
which-
one
yeah.
stone.
Yeah. Actually, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
it was
blue,
almost
blue.
It was
probably.
almost like a choker too. It was a little
Yeah.
little too. But I look back, I don't regret that actually. Look, because I look back and I was like, no, it's not a bad look. It's not bad. I don't
No,
regret that.
no.
Yeah.
It depends. It's like context, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, if you were wearing like a suit and tie with the hemp
yeah,
necklace,
yeah. That's probably not the best look. Yeah,
but if you got some board shorts and
yeah. I didn't have board shorts,
tank
but
top and
yeah. Well, I'm pretty sure. So I went to a public school for a year and my senior year, and we had to wear uniforms. So we had like the colors were gray, white, and black, I believe. Gray, white, and black. Yeah. And so no, red. Red was another one. I think there was 4. But anyways, so it was like a polo shirt and, khakis, and then it's so funny to think about now, like how much of a jail cell that was. But on Fridays they would let us wear jeans, and that was like and I remember like a friend of mine, another student, another senior came up and he was like, "Wes, you're not wearing jeans. It's Friday." And I was like, "Yeah, I think khakis are actually just as the same as jeans. Like, what's the difference?
Yeah.
It's not more breathable in jeans than it is in khakis, right? Like,
yeah, this is me rebelling
yeah.
right now by not wearing jeans on Friday.
Yeah. If
I'm
only
breaking free.
if only I was that smart in high school. But anyways, the point of bringing that up is that was my way of rebelling, is wearing that necklace with that like khaki, that the khakis and the collared shirt.
It was a thing too.
It was a
It
thing.
like-
Well, yeah, and hemp is great. Like hemp is just great. It's just a great,
especially the flowers
great
that grow on
quality.
it.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I'm indifferent about that. Well, I'm not indifferent about it for anyone else. Like anyone can use it. Yeah, just that's a personal thing. But I think just how ridiculously strong hemp is incredible.
Yeah. Right. Canvas
Yeah.
is hemp.
Is canvas hemp? I'm not
That's
sure
what I
about
heard.
that. Okay.
That's recently
Yeah.
heard
Yeah.
canvas comes from
Yeah.
cannabis.
Oh yeah. You're right. You're exactly right. Well, they're also they're also now using this basically like a hemp brick that it's almost like. So I've seen this because I have a friend from Chattanooga. I'm pretty sure he still lives in Chattanooga, and he's definitely like a big marijuana advocate, and really wants it to be legal there, which it definitely should be. It's just kind of silly that it's not. But anyways, so he's posting these videos about all the uses of hemp, and yeah, they're building these structures now, like with hemp, and it's been proven to be just as much, if not more, of a stronger foundation than a brick is. Because you can hit a brick, right, and it'll shatter, right? You
Yeah.
can hit it with a sledgehammer. They're slamming these things with it. So there is a bit of work to put this together to kind of make this mold of hemp. But it's, I mean, and of course, like the video is completely biased, but I was convinced. Yeah, I wanted to be convinced though. So
Yeah.
yeah,
No, I like the idea of a hemp house.
yeah,
It's my hemp house.
yeah. I just wonder what happens if it burns down. Actually, I don't
It
think
would smell good. And you'd be high.
Right.
You would feel
Possibly.
no pain.
Possibly, but that's always the
As it
thing.
burnt down.
You can't actually get high from hemp, can you?
That's true.
I don't think you can.
I was trying to be funny, but
That's what I don't. Do you know much about how exactly is hemp different than hemp is just the dried marijuana, right?
no, hemp's the fibers from the stems.
Oh, it's the
I
fibers.
believe.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I believe
so
they
that's
they strip out fibers. I'm not really sure.
okay.
This is one of
Gotcha.
those things we're gonna have to be
Yeah.
like
Well, hopefully, eventually they'll be making
conjecture.
making bridges with hemp.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure they make all sorts of good stuff with hemp. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if it actually becomes federally legal someday, which that's going to happen. I just don't know. I mean, no one knows exactly when, but it will happen because and as most of us are doing now, we're going to look back and realize how ridiculous it was that William Randolph Hearst was the guy who like it was because he wanted rope. He wanted to use nylon rope or whatever, right?
Or he wanted his papers to be made out of some other material.
Okay. Yeah.
Something
And
like
so
that.
he was so it
And
was
hemp was a
yeah,
better
yeah.
material for making paper.
Right. Yeah.
This is what we've heard.
Yeah.
This is what I heard on Rogan's podcast.
Yeah, right. Well, yeah, no, I did. I went and what I appreciated about that information is I went and researched it myself, and it was exactly right.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I had heard that before. I had heard that the whole reason that marijuana became illegal and became this whole like scary drug and was created into this like scare tactic that it was a gateway drug and all that BS is just because of that. Because of the competition between someone else wanting to use another type of rope over hemp. And they were just like, well, I don't care if that stuff's stronger or not. Like you're not using it in my factory.
Yeah. Well, my thing with that whole plant in general, I definitely don't have the best relationship to it. I don't see any problem with it being legal.
Right.
So I like the idea of getting tax revenue from it.
Sure. Yeah.
And if people are going to smoke it, might as well get a better product
Yeah.
and whatnot. I don't see it causing any sort of problems. I mean, is it going to affect a young kid's development? Probably.
Oh yeah.
Like,
well, yeah.
I wouldn't recommend any kids smoking.
Yeah,
I started
yeah.
when I was young.
Right.
And I didn't really smoke that much until I got out of high school.
Yeah.
But I've just never had a good relationship with it because my thing is normally I won't want to do it, but I'll do it anyways.
Sure,
So
sure,
I feel
sure.
like that's a terrible
Interesting.
relationship. Like
Interesting.
it's something that's always just
Yeah.
followed me my whole life. I don't really
Wow.
know why.
Mine is almost the opposite. I think. I think I think just smoking is somewhat rewarding thing, but the silly thing about it too is that you can just take a deep breath of oxygen and get almost the same feeling. There's something about, taking that puff of smoke and blowing it back out that's relieving, but you can pretty close to get the same thing if you just I feel I already
Right.
just gave myself way more oxygen. I've got more oxygen to my brain. I'm going to say much more intellectual things now.
Isn't it weird that we have or we don't breathe properly all
Right.
the time?
Yeah.
That's so
Yeah.
strange to me.
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
been trying
Right.
to breathe through my nose more often.
Okay.
Even when I'm running, which is even harder.
It is hard.
But just breathing in. Well, and also using my diaphragm
Yeah,
to
absolutely.
try and sing
Yeah.
and stuff.
Yep. Yep.
I mean, but back to weed though, that whole thing about it being sort of an inspirato for music, I never found that. I don't even think it helps me when I'm practicing or anything like
Okay.
that.
Yeah.
I think I'll get excited for
Sure.
20 minutes.
Sure.
And I'll be just
Yeah.
in a zone.
Yeah.
And then I just get distracted
Yeah.
easily.
I think it's probably a placebo. I've had a similar conversation before with other musicians, and I think it might just be a placebo. I think you can probably get the same results if you were to light some incense, if you were to have a cup of coffee, if you were to have a whatever, a Diet Coke, I don't know.
Yeah. Like a ritual.
Yeah, don't choose Diet Coke though. But you know what? Yeah, exactly. A ritual, like
Diet
turn on a
Pepsi.
Sure, Pepsi. Yeah. Turn on a certain light. Set some kind of mood. Light some sage. I don't know. Some kind of a ritual. That and I'm getting the older I get, the more I really believe in placebo. Like I don't think everything's a placebo, but I am pretty close to believing that.
No, dude, I'll take it. By definition, it works.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take a placebo any day of the week
right,
for
right,
whatever ails me,
Yeah,
because it's gonna
right.
cure me, and
Yeah.
I'm not actually gonna. It's just
Right.
my mind
Yeah, exactly.
doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, the mind can definitely my mind can cause me a lot of pain and discomfort.
Sure. Yeah.
It's actually really weird that happens, and
yeah,
it's really weird
yeah.
that my mind goes straight to that. I was
Yeah.
just having a conversation
Right.
last night about this.
Mm.
Why do I immediately go negative?
Okay. Yeah.
Why do I have to sail these crazy seas for who knows how long before I reach the shore of sanity?
Ooh,
You know
that's
what I mean?
beautiful. Put that in a song. Yeah.
Seriously though.
Yeah, no,
Like, why does my mind immediately go crazy to
Yeah.
this completely irrational
Yeah,
point
yeah.
where I'm blaming somebody else for, after I sift through all of it,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, it's just me.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just me
Yeah.
being petty,
Sure,
or me
sure.
being insecure
Sure.
about something.
Yeah.
And I immediately go crazy though.
Yeah.
It's like, and so I come across to a lot of people as, I don't know, having things together, and see,
Oh yeah. Right.
like at work,
Yeah.
people are, oh, you're always so calm.
Yeah.
But underneath it,
Yeah.
I'm freaking
In your
out.
mind.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
In
like
yeah.
obsessing about something
Sure.
really negative that I can't let go of.
Sure.
So all these people around me, what are they? What's going on with them?
Right. That's a good point.
So it's
yeah.
maybe not like this person is crazy.
Sure.
It's just what kind of crazy they got today.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the
yeah.
mantra. What kind of crazy am I going to have today?
Yeah. That's good. It's not, well, I think it's good just because I do think that everyone has that feeling, whether or not they want to
That's
accept it or
crazy.
not. Yeah.
It's crazy that
Yeah.
everybody's just experiencing a different kind of crazy.
Yeah. Right.
Fuck.
Yeah. Well, we've
don't
built
like it.
We've built this society. We've built this place where the majority of us live in a city, and we drive to a place where we have to wait on thousands of other people to get to a place because they're in our way. And we don't know them, for most of them. And we are stuck in this pod that's 2 tons or whatever it is it weighs, with wheels on it, that's somewhat safe but also could be fatal. And we're driving at extreme speed, and this is like most of our daily ritual. Like some people get to work from home, but still they have to commute, a couple days or something. So everyone, even if you want to go to the store, you're going to experience some of that, right? People are in your way. You can't just run in and run out. It's not, you have to practice some patience. And I think a lot of us don't have a lot of patience. I think a lot of people we're like, a lot of people were nomadic people, or their ancestors were nomadic, and now we're forced to be complacent in a house or whatever. And we're all kind of just stuck inside this. It's crazy. We're still in this, like, of course, not everyone works 9 to 5, but we still are stuck in this kind of thing that was created, in the late 1800s, where they started the whole hourly wage,
factories.
exactly, with John D. Rockefeller and Carnegie. So yeah, I mean, we're all kind of trapped. Yeah, there's that one. There's that one Arcade Fire song where he says, "My body is a cage."
That's a good song.
Yeah, I know, that's probably their best, but I just thought, like, yeah, it does feel like that, because we've got these minds, we've got these incredible minds trapped in these bodies that are somewhat limiting.
Or on the other side too, you might be talking about the soul, and it
Sure, yeah.
allowing it to release, or getting that release to heaven or to be with God.
Yeah.
I was wondering too, is maybe, pursuing this music is just trying to fill that void.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's really
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't music, I'd be filling it with something else.
Sure. Well,
or back in the day, maybe it would be full with a belief in a higher power and family and community. You wouldn't have, I mean, it wouldn't be an issue. You wouldn't need to seek these things out. You wouldn't care about the commute and the grind, that 9 to 5. You'd just be happy with having a job because you're putting food on the table. And growing up in America, where you don't have to think about that stuff because you just take it all for granted. That's all we do is take it all for granted. And so we seek out other ways to fill this void.
Right. Yeah. There's always.
And that's what always bugged me.
Yeah.
That shit always bugged me. I felt like I was doing music for the wrong reasons.
Wow. Huh. That's
like a negative thing. Like I was just filling a void.
Yeah.
I was.
But why is that negative though? To fill a void?
I don't know.
To me,
why does my mind always go to negative stuff?
Yeah. Well, I do it too. I'm totally guilty of that too. I've never thought of it exactly that way, but I'm very negative. Especially, you were mentioning kind of relationships and people perceiving you as all put together and not feeling that way. I 100% feel that way all the time. And I can assume that most people probably do as well. And if you do feel like you have it all, you're all put together, you're probably lying to yourself.
Or it'll just be a short stint.
Yeah,
like,
sure.
Oh yeah, got together for this.
Yeah, you had
day.
a good day. You had a good day.
Oh, and
That's
well,
awesome.
and I had a great day yesterday, but then the next day always seems to be shit.
Yeah, sure.
It's crazy when you have that great day.
Yeah.
Like, all right, let's keep this wave going, and then the next day, woo.
Yeah, I used to psych myself out with that, and whenever I was having like a good week or something, I was like, "Oh man, a storm's coming. Something super shitty's about to happen."
And it did, didn't
Well,
it?
it did because I believe, because I I almost wanted it to happen. So, but there's also like sometimes the reverse psychology would happen, because whatever you believe in. I think at the time I believed just the universe was just rewarding me for some reason, but where I would believe these negative things would happen and they actually wouldn't, and so I would just be like, "Oh well, that didn't happen, so that's, I guess, a successful day." I didn't run in under a 18-wheeler and get projected onto pavement. It's a good day.
Yeah, when you're driving down the highway at 60 miles an hour and just thinking, oh, it's just a little extra.
Oh yeah.
Jerk of the wheel.
Yeah. And it's over. Yeah.
And is it? That's a tangent.
Oh yeah.
I like it though.
Yeah, for sure. Well, back to let's talk about your writing process. What about in particular your last EP? What year did that come out? Because you played at the Royal Room, you released it at the Royal Room. That was Peter and the Tribe. 2016. Okay, yeah, that sounds right.
Or 15, 16.
I think it must have been 16. I think 16 is right.
Sounds.
Wasn't Ready for Your Love, right? Is that the right title?
That was the one before that.
Oh, was it?
That was the
Okay.
At Night
Okay.
EP.
Okay,
And the other
yeah.
one was Breakup.
Okay.
And the name, we just liked the idea of, Peter and the Tribe, and then a verb.
Yeah.
Because it's like a sentence.
Right,
Peter and the
right,
Tribe,
yeah.
break up.
Yeah. Peter
And all the
Tribe at
songs
Night,
were about just being upset that it didn't work out with
right. Yeah.
a girl or different girls.
Yeah.
And just kind of
Right.
fused it all together.
Yeah.
I think that's the writing process, is just having shitty things happen, and then not it gets built up so much inside, and all that pain and all that energy.
Yeah.
It's like all that anxiety and all that negativity is just, it's like it feels like a ball of energy is just below your sternum.
Okay.
And it's got to find a way out.
Yeah.
And it just comes out in a song.
Yeah.
Same time when I'm writing poetry, that's what'll happen. I'll just
Yeah.
get this intense
Yeah.
feeling of energy, and it just comes out.
Yeah.
That's
awesome.
That's what I learned too with performing, is all that anxiety is just misguided energy.
Okay.
And so I just try to guide it
Yeah.
through the instruments
Okay.
and sort of let go.
Yeah.
Man, but my thing was always lyrics.
Okay.
That's what always
Yeah.
slowed me up.
Sure, sure, sure.
I can write a melody.
Sure. Oh yeah.
I could.
Yeah.
I would do that all the time. I would
Right.
write,
Right.
just play the guitar, play some
Yeah.
chords, and come
Yeah.
up with a melody, and
Yeah.
I could do it quite effortlessly.
Mhm.
But then I would have to infuse that melody with lyrics.
Right. Right.
And it takes me forever, and I just can't
Hmm.
get through it a lot of times. It's so hard.
Yeah.
And I want the lyrics to be of a certain caliber.
Yeah.
And
Right.
my whole thing was, the first rule of poetry is never use cliche,
Okay. Yeah.
ever.
Yeah.
That is the one thing you cannot do
Okay.
with poetry.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like you can actually kind of get away with it in music.
Sure. I do too. I mean,
Like, you can write a cheesy love
yeah.
song,
Oh,
but if you
yeah.
feel it,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I love you.
Yeah.
And you just say that in
Yeah.
a beautiful melody.
That is the phrase that always works.
But I
because
couldn't let go.
Yeah.
I couldn't let
Yeah,
go
yeah,
of
yeah.
cliche.
Right,
and,
right,
and it's
yeah.
really hard to be
Yeah.
not cliche.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. It is difficult. I think sometimes you can make it work if the emotion of the music is authentic.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the thing. Because if you're saying something cliche, that can come off as inauthentic.
Mm-hmm.
And then therefore, but you can, for lack of a better way of saying it, you kind of make up for it with the emotive of the actual music, right?
Yeah. I always think of Find Me Somebody to Love by Queen.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
And it seems,
Yeah.
I don't know if that's the best example, but
Sure.
obviously he whatever he's saying,
Yeah.
it's the words don't even seem to matter.
Yeah.
Because I don't even really listen to lyrics that much, too,
Sure.
to be quite honest.
Right.
A lot of songs.
Yeah, and this is something, that I do think it's always important to discuss. I think that if the emotion of the music and just the overall feeling of the melody isn't there, then you can have Bob Dylan-esque lyrics or whoever you consider a great lyricist, and it doesn't matter. You put the lyrics to "Blowing in the Wind" to something boring musically, and I don't think it works. I don't know.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, maybe you just say, oh, that's a really pretty poem.
Sure.
But you never say it's a great song.
Yeah.
But yeah, he just kills it on the guitar
Yeah.
and his voice and that melody.
Yeah.
It all comes together so beautifully.
Right.
Just made me think of something, and I can't.
Did you happen to see? There's a new Scorsese film on Dylan.
No.
He just put out. It's definitely a different approach than the first one he did. I Am Not There, I believe, was the first one.
I think that's right. Yeah, I saw that.
And that was
good.
Yeah, I own that one. I really enjoyed that one. Watched it a couple of times, and yeah, this new one is a bit of a different approach in that, and I've just gotten into it a little bit, but Scorsese has used a lot of footage from this other filmmaker who kind of just like followed Bob Dylan around everywhere. And I believe it was in the 90s. And I'm not even 100% what record he was working on at the time, because I haven't gotten that far. But it's kind of when when Dylan, one thing he was doing that was kind of interesting is he was a big fan of Kiss, apparently.
Dylan?
Yeah. And so Dylan started he started powdering his face and painting his face a little
on
bit.
Desire.
Yeah.
That album Desire.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
So apparently that's where that came from. But this filmmaker who just kind of followed around, it's kind of barely interesting, just because it's like he'll just be, and it'll be Bob walks up to a young lady and has a conversation with her at a show. Another thing that he does is Bob just shows up at these poetry readings and these other shows, and you just see it's almost like Bob Dylan is performing at another person's show. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's watching, and everyone's watching him watch the person performing.
Yeah.
It's a little strange.
It is strange. And I feel like sometimes people get too big and
Yeah.
we cut them a lot of slack.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
And their really mediocre stuff will
Yeah.
say, "Oh, that's great.
Yeah. Right.
It's
Right.
genius."
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
When it's quite the opposite or something.
Yeah, yeah, no. I mean, yeah, when people start getting perceived as a god and whatnot, then it's a bit too far. That is a thing that's been going on in America for a very long time, of idolizing these actors and actresses who are arguably significantly more flawed than we are all, right?
Oh,
I mean,
they're deeply
they
flawed.
yeah, I mean, they live in the shadow, right? I mean, we all have this shadow that we're all kind of fighting. I mean, that's what I kind of think of as you're walking when you mentioned before, you're kind of walking around with this negativity and fighting with these whatever it is, these arguments you're having in your own mind. I think I call that the shadow. I read this book about that very thing. That's we all carry around our shadow, and our shadow is the thing, this kind of the negative thing that won't go away. So we have to learn how to deal with it, right, in an effective way. But anyways, getting back to the point is, yeah, they arguably have these even stronger shadow, but they somehow can keep it behind them, But inside, you see, I mean, there's the thing.
Well,
is
they're
like,
not dealing with it.
yeah, you
I think
see
you
their
don't deal with it. You
Yeah.
just do a lot of drugs.
Yeah.
Dylan definitely
Yeah.
did that.
right, yeah.
I mean, a lot of those. I watched the biography about Eric Clapton, and it just shattered the romantic ideal of that era and those musicians.
Really,
It's just drug addiction.
yeah,
Just
yeah,
a lot of drugs
Yeah.
and a lot of money to
Yeah.
go procure those drugs
yeah.
and just be wasted all the time.
Huh. Yeah.
But you're so talented that
right.
it's
Yeah.
all forgiven.
Yeah, right. I know. How do you like? I just find it so astounding. How are they able to play those shows with like just being completely blasted like that? I don't. I guess you just get used to it. You build up a tolerance, but it just.
Well, didn't the Doors kind of suck later
yeah.
on?
Right. Yeah, very
And
true.
I know that
Yeah.
Clapton, when he was really going through his alcoholism, was not performing well at all.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And again, I think some people can practice and do this or that stoned
Yeah.
because they just metabolize it better,
Yeah.
or
right.
they're stoned all the time.
Sure.
So it's
It's just
the
yeah,
baseline.
normal. Yeah. Right. Yeah. That guy. Who's that? That rapper. He said he smokes like an ounce a day or something. So it's just.
Sounds like Snoop Dogg.
Yeah. Well, Snoop Dogg's a good example of that. Like someone who is like completely functional with a large amount of marijuana. It's almost like their body is calling for it. Like they like you said, they're metabolizing at a level to where their body, maybe it's maybe they're lacking the cannabinoids and they actually need that in their body, like someone would lack insulin.
Yeah.
What do I know?
That's not me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm quite the opposite.
Yeah.
But yet it draws me back in. That's what I don't get too, because there's a beer in my fridge that's been there
Oh
for
yeah.
months.
Right,
and I haven't
right.
touched it. I don't really.
Yeah.
I wish I had that same relationship with weed.
Yeah. Well, I guess you just have to make your mind believe the same thing. I'm pretty much at the same thing. I had some beers on the 4th. I kind of just like like Ashley had a cider or something, and she was like, "You want the rest of this?" I had it. Then I was like, "Oh, the whatever.
You got
The seal
got
is
the thirst.
the seal is cracked now." And so I just kind of went for it. And then the next morning I woke up. I wasn't, I didn't get drunk or anything, but I woke up the next morning and just kind of felt like crap. And I was like, that's why I don't do that anymore. That's why. Like, even if it's just one, I just see so little benefit for it in my life in wanting to be a more productive person and do this podcast and make more music and be a father and be a good friend and all these, be a good husband. And I just don't know that the alcohol, like, the argument, it might be that, it can relax you, but it doesn't relax me. I think what it does for me is just kind of puts me in this different mind space. It almost does like a psychedelic thing, I think, to me a little bit. Psychedelic may not be the right term, but it changes my, it's a depressant clearly, but I don't know. It just depends on what it is, I guess. But it definitely changes my whole mindset. Like it really, really gets into my ability to think and my cognitive ability, and I just don't want it to have that power anymore, you know? So I've decided like I'm not gonna be like I'm not ever drinking, because there are some circumstances that I think it's like appropriate if some people are hanging out and we're just kicking it, whatever, you know, I'll
Or
have
you
a
just want
drink.
to try something.
Sure, sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think there are some benefits, but you know, for the most part, what I also watched this TED talk about how ethanol is really bad for your memory skills, and you know, beer is made with a lot of ethanol, right?
No, I was gonna actually make that point. Is most people probably drink a lot because they want to forget, and that's why they're out drinking on a regular basis. It's
Sure.
like wiping the slate clean
Yeah,
type of
yeah,
deal.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, I
So
had such a rough day. It
yeah,
was so stressful. Let's
yeah.
go get blitz so I
Yeah,
can
yeah, yeah.
forget.
Right. I get that. I think that you know, I do get that, and I think I've probably been in that circumstance before. I wish if that was the case, and you could actually like start with a clean slate, I would want to do it. But the problem is you don't wipe your hard drive. Like
No,
I wish I could get something that could wipe my hard drive. I could almost start over. I have these moments where I was like, where, you know, I'm thinking in my mind, where's my reset button? I just want to hit reset.
yeah,
You
instead
know?
you wake up with like a Jackson Pollock
Yeah.
painting.
Yeah, which is
Just
I'm a fan, so I'm
Puke
cool with
and
that. Yeah,
all sorts
yeah,
of stuff splattered here and
yeah,
there.
yeah. I'm a fan, so I'm good with that. But yeah, but I mean, as far as the feeling, yeah, I don't want that feeling. But yeah, that's
No, I think sobriety is ultimately better.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But there's, you know, I went to visit my brother in England, and there is something cool about this pub culture.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
going there and just
Right.
having a beer and
Yeah.
whatnot.
Yeah.
But you're also just kind of forgetting the fact that there's a lot of sadness
Oh yeah.
to that.
Oh yeah. Oh
You know,
yeah.
people coming in just
Right.
drinking away their
Right.
sorrows.
Totally. Yeah.
I don't know that. How do you can't extract that stuff from life
No.
anyways.
No. No.
Like you can't extract.
Yeah.
I think that's the
Yeah.
problem with
Right.
a lot of people's visions for changing the world is
Yeah.
they forget that you cannot remove
Yeah.
all these bad things that are going to happen.
No. Not for other people. You can remove it for yourself.
But
Yeah.
something's going to happen.
True.
That
True.
18-wheeler
True.
might run you over.
Right. Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
something you care
Someone
about.
needs to knock on wood.
Yeah. Seriously.
Yeah.
That too. My brother has got me into being superstitious.
Oh yeah, I know. What I
It
don't.
seems so
Yeah,
human.
right. Well, I was kind of doing it for comic effect. Although it's like,
That's
yeah.
the thing about superstition, though,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
We do it even though
Right.
we know it's
Yeah. Yeah.
just a belief or
Yeah. 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 Right.
it's irrational.
Right. Well, and since you were talking about Stevie Wonder earlier, that song "Superstition," I think is a complete masterpiece. That song is such a masterpiece. That riff is so good. It's so hypnotic. It's so good. I love the drums on that. I've actually taught someone the drums to that, so I had to learn it myself, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is so."
It's mostly
good.
hi-hat, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Just
yeah.
kinda
There's a
like-
lot of hi-hat. But and it's so interesting how it's I would call it polyrhythmic. Hopefully there's not a drummer on here listening who's like, it's not polyrhythmic, man. That's not the right term. It has the hi-hat has a polyrhythmic feel. Hopefully that's more accurate. But and it's been a while. It's been at least a year since I remember visiting that song, but it's a lot of fun to play, just even on the piano too, that riff. But the drums I thought were really fun. And the thing about it is all the kind of research I did to get some other advice from other drummers, like just looking at some forums and stuff about learning how to play the drums. A lot of people were saying, other drummers were saying, yeah, he just went off feel. Like he didn't think like I gotta tab this out or anything. He wasn't like I gotta write this. He's not writing his music out.
So you couldn't even see the drum kit.
Exactly. So he just 100% went off feel, and it's so, and because that feeling is so strong, that's why that song is so brilliant. I just think it's perfect in every way. It's visual too, like right off the bat. Very superstitious, writing on the wall, right? It's immediately visual. I immediately see a visual.
Yeah,
in the
ladder's about to
lyrics.
fall.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, when you believe in things you don't understand, you
Yeah.
suffer.
Yeah.
That's a great line.
Oh my god, yeah. I mean,
Yeah. Dude, you should check out Fulfillingness's first finale.
Okay. Yeah.
That
Yeah, yeah.
album's really good.
Right, right,
It's
right.
blowing me
Yeah.
away.
Yeah.
They Won't Go When I Go.
Okay.
Oh, it's like a classical piece.
Okay. Yeah.
It's so beautiful.
Yeah,
There's
yeah, yeah.
chord progression and the lyrics are really good.
Cool. Yeah. Well, I'll remind me to write that down before.
But
we
his
wrap up,
drumming,
but-
he's just an incredible drummer.
Yeah, I completely agree.
People just don't realize.
Yeah,
Or some people do.
I think. Yeah, I don't think a lot of people realize that. Yeah, he played most all the instruments on all his albums. Like, what was it? Starting in the 70s and on, right?
Yeah, I just watched this video about it, and somewhere around there.
Yeah.
Yeah, like 1970.
Yeah.
He broke from his contract with Motown and signed with
Sony? I think it was Sony.
was it? It's
I think so. I think it was Sony.
Interscope.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
I don't know, but he's playing all the instruments, producing these songs all by himself.
Right.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
And his voice too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He's just got it all,
completely
man.
flawless. Yeah,
He's
he could go
genius.
really low. He had a good baritone too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he did, which he didn't use his baritone a whole lot. But there's, I think, songs in the key of life. There's that? Or am I
That's
thinking?
76.
Okay.
It's like that double disc or
Yeah.
multi-disc. It has
Yeah,
As,
yeah.
it has Sir Duke, it has
Yeah.
I Wish.
Yeah, there's a song on
Pastime
there.
Paradise, which is
Ooh.
so good.
Yeah.
You know, I always knew Gangster's Paradise.
Yeah.
It's one of the first songs I ever learned, actually. I wrote down the lyrics, I
Yeah.
typed them up, printed it out, and learned that song.
Yeah.
It's fun to do at karaoke.
Oh, I bet. Yeah. Coolio. I was a big fan.
Yeah, that song was great.
That song was great, and there was also one that I really liked. And this was like Coolio's decline. Like, it's like he had Gangster Paradise. He was on top of the world, right? I mean, everyone heard that song. You couldn't escape it. There's a movie with it
Grammys.
too, right? He had it like a great hairstyle too, great swagger. And then he did hit like on his decline. I remember he had this one song. It's like too hot, baby. And I just remember I can't rap, but he was just like minute after minute, hour after hour, he just like really rattled off on that one. But I was like, how does this song not as popular as Gangsta's Paradise? This song is sick.
Everybody's running, but half of them ain't looking what's going on in the kitchen.
yeah.
But I don't know what's
It's
cooking.
yeah. 23, never will
Say I
live
got
to
to
see.
learn, but nobody's here to teach me. If they can't understand me, how can they reach me?
Yeah. Well, I also, the line 23, does he say never will I live to, or maybe I won't live to see 24?
I'm 23 now, but will I live to see 24? The way things are going, I don't know.
Does it say never will I, or maybe I won't?
23 now, but will I live to see?
Yeah, but
20,
will I will. Okay. Yeah.
Wait.
Makes more sense. Yeah.
24, the way things are going, I don't know.
Yeah, that was a good era. That was the 90s, right? Late 90s? Or was that early 2000s?
No, that would have been 90s.
Yeah. And then there's that, the hook in that song's so good, too.
Oh, dude, it comes from Stevie Wonder.
Yeah.
That song, Pastime Paradise, is great.
Okay.
It's so good.
Wow. They should have just got Stevie to sing that.
Yeah.
That would have been badass.
And expensive, though. Like,
Sure.
oh, we got this.
Yeah, that's
Dude.
fair. Yeah, but they still had to pay him royalties for it. I always wonder, like, how does
We got
that...
Johnny over here, though. He can really sing it, and he's like,
No, he did sing it well.
he'll do it for
He
$20.
did. Yeah. Wow. That's, yeah. One
Best
thing
20
I'm not,
bucks spent ever.
I just realized that I don't know is how it works with royalties if you only do like a portion of a song.
You gotta be on the writing credits.
Okay. So they don't give you, like, I guess they negotiate that percentage then. They're like, we want 10% of your sales or something.
Mm.
Yeah.
Or just a flat fee.
Sure. Yeah, I mean,
Hopefully
I guess
Stevie got percentage.
right. It seems like it'd be smarter especially with a song like that. Yeah, to go percentage.
Or with sampling stuff. I wonder when that changed.
I guess that's a good well, that was done illegally for a very long time, right? When
That's
hip
true.
hop first started, they were completely doing it 100% illegally, and then they started getting in trouble for it.
Well, and it always kind of bugged me that the artists would get so upset.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah,
I guess I get it to a certain extent.
Right.
Why?
Yeah.
It's their art.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
at the same time, I don't know. Are they just upset that they're not getting money
Right.
because this is the only way they get money?
Yeah. Well,
Or
so
am I just focusing on the uber rich ones and
mhm.
how dare they get upset
Yeah.
because you're not making that money, even though you're making tons of money?
Yeah.
Or is it the principle of the thing?
I think it, well, I would hope it was principle. I think the principle is a valid argument there, but two things that I think of. One is the whole Tom Petty scenario with Sam Smith. That kind of ruffled my feathers. Not that Tom Petty or Sam Smith cares about what I think, but that, and then also maybe consider the perspective of what if somebody took your song, wasn't ready, and they got, serious radio play with it. How would you feel about that? And they didn't pay you anything. They were just, they found your song and you're like, dude, this song is sick.
No, that's true.
I can put a killer beat to this and it's fire.
Yeah. I wish somebody would do that.
Yeah, it would be, yeah.
You know, though, I remember listening to a conversation with the drummer in James Brown's band.
Okay.
And Funky Drummer,
Yeah.
that's been sampled so many times.
Sure.
And for good reason. Because it's the dopest, one of the dopest beats of all time.
Right. Yeah.
And he was just kind of upset that nobody ever gave him credit and his name isn't recognized. I don't even remember his name.
Yeah.
It's just James Brown's drummer. But oh my gosh, all those amazing beats.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I
There's some
mean,
good stuff in there.
James Brown. We could talk about that. James,
absolutely,
JB.
and we can. But that puts me on another tangent. I've been reading the Tao. So Lao Tzu. Are you familiar with Lao Tzu? Lao Tzu was around the same time as Confucius, but Lao Tzu was had a different philosophy than Confucius. There's this guy Wayne Dyer. He's a PhD who does commentary on Lao Tzu. So it was the Chinese era known as Taoism. That's when it was. I'm gonna take a crack at this, and I think it was 366 BC. Could be wrong.
It was a good year.
Yeah, for possibly. It was like partially a good.
I mean, unless you're into dental hygiene. The terrible year for teeth.
Right.
But it was a good year.
Yeah, it was a good year for
every other respect.
some religions and some warriors. It might have been a good year. Actually, I don't think it was a good year for warriors at all, because I'm pretty sure that's also when the Book of Songs was written. Have you read that? The Book of Songs is Chinese poems from all these warriors, and they're basically in a beautiful, eloquent way. They're complaining about having to be gone at war and not with their families. That's what's happening in this. It's really interesting, especially, you look back thousands of years and you're like, wow, we're still in that same scenario where we have all these troops away from their families for long periods of time, and they don't like it. Why would they? They're serving their country and we appreciate it, but they have to be away from their family.
Well, we're driven by ideas.
Yeah.
And the idea of patriotism is a powerful idea, being a part of something.
Yeah.
Maybe that's also why we pursue music, because we don't have wars to fight.
Yeah.
I mean, back in the day, we would have been off on a campaign.
Sure.
Or probably dead from a campaign that we were part of.
Yeah.
We'd have been part of a group, a knight, or just a soldier in somebody's army.
Yeah. Right.
Conquering it.
Right.
Or losing a battle. Who knows?
Yeah.
And now we live in this, relatively the most peaceful time in human history.
Sure.
So where's all that energy going to go?
Yeah, that's a good point. The point I went off on
you're going to talk about the Tao.
On Lao Tzu. So yeah, Lao Tzu. So how do I get back there? Because what was the thing that you said that even got me on that? Oh, about So the James Brown's drummer wanting notoriety, right? We all want that. I definitely am guilty of wanting notoriety for sure. Yeah. So Lao Tzu, but that's the thing, is I'm reading this stuff and listening to it and I'm getting so upset, but I'm going through this like evolution of myself. And I'm not trying to pat myself on the back. I'm not becoming like a great person, but hopefully I'm becoming a better person by reading this and being more patient. But one thing he says is what good do you get from notoriety? You actually should be the opposite of that and actually want to be kind of almost hidden in the shadows and just live and exist. Just be patient. If someone has a problem with something, then that's their problem. It's not your problem. you don't have a problem. You just exist, and you don't need notoriety. Notoriety is for someone else. If they want that, they can have that. You don't need that. And of course, I'm paraphrasing it. And that's what Wayne Dyer has done really good is put it in a Western perspective, right? One thing he says that the first thing I ever read from the Tao, which I still find a bit profound, but also like angered me immediately, was do nothing and nothing is left undone. Is one of the things.
Do nothing and nothing is left undone.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's kind of like nothing changes if nothing changes.
Yes. I also see it as there's so many, I think there's so many perspectives you can get because you can read that. You don't hear a tone. So you can also read it as like, oh, like I can just be lazy. Oh yeah, but if I'm lazy, nothing happens. So if I get some stuff done, then I get the reward of getting those things done. So I think that's the point, is he's trying to make you think. He's trying to give you a perspective, in doing it in this eloquent way. He's also the thing I appreciate is he's not telling anyone he's not saying you should do this and your life will be better. He's just saying like you don't actually need these things. Like where does notoriety get us? We just want more notoriety, right? Like where does anything get us? Like if you're the best skier in the world, then what happens when you're the best in the world? There's nowhere else to go. Who are you going to compete against anymore, right? And that's why these Olympians get depressed, because they're the best in the world. There's nowhere else to go. They're at the peak, right? So what's the point?
Again, fill in the void, right?
Yeah.
What's the point?
Yeah.
I mean, that's such a good question. That's such a big question.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like more and more what's most important is just other people.
Yeah.
And people you care about.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And,
I
like
agree.
Focusing on that.
Right.
Yeah, notoriety.
Yeah. Right.
I definitely desire notoriety to a certain degree.
Sure.
But I immediately would shun it.
Sure.
At the same time,
Sure.
and be like,
Yeah. Yeah.
why would you
Right.
say that or
Yeah.
something?
Yeah.
It's like when you said you think I have a better voice than Bob Dylan. Immediately, that was one of the biggest things actually. That's one of the biggest hurdles for me when I was doing music. Is extremely self-conscious about that.
Sure.
And
sure.
it would just
Yeah.
doing recordings.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You just think it's the worst.
Right.
Man, that was actually crippling.
Yeah.
Just thinking about my voice.
Yeah.
Just so weird.
Yeah.
I don't know why the
Right,
fuck
right.
would my
Yeah.
mind do something like that. It does me no good. It's like
Yeah. Sure.
it's like just it's a weakness, I'd have to say.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but you want it to be good, and there's nothing wrong with wanting it to be good.
Yeah, but
But-
thinking about it's not gonna
Sure.
make it good.
True.
Thinking it's bad
True.
and
yeah.
not just being confident in it
Yeah.
or putting in the work to make it better.
Yeah, I see
Seems
that.
like putting in the work too is another
Yeah.
catchphrase that I can latch onto. No matter
Sure.
what you're doing, just put in the work.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want notoriety, then put in the work.
Yeah.
But what are you
that's
gonna
certain.
get? What are you gonna get notoriety for?
Sure. Yeah.
Well,
Well,
just have a nice butt and show it on Instagram.
Sure. Yeah.
It seems to work for
Yeah.
a lot of people.
Yeah, right. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I guess you can make some money from doing that. So yeah, I mean, if that's what you want, or if you just want the notoriety of a bunch of guys oogling, or not just guys, but yeah. Another thing is, are you where are you right now as far as your artistic kind of path is right now? Like where, because I know you mentioned voice lessons, so that's something you're working on. You mentioned diaphragm.
Not right now.
Guitar lessons.
I was taking guitar lessons.
Yeah.
I would like to take voice lessons though.
Okay.
I like putting in the work.
Yeah.
for that stuff.
You've sent me a couple of YouTube tutorials on voice, which that's voice lessons. I mean,
It's true. Yeah,
yeah.
that one guy, I can't remember, Sam Johnson.
Yeah. Yeah.
Man, just listening to him
Right.
and this idea of it's just got to be free.
Sure.
Whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
And also thinking of this
Right.
as bellows
Okay. Yeah.
and it squeezing.
Right.
And that's how you get the all the air to come out.
Yeah. You don't want to use your chest. I mean,
Well,
you
I've also
can.
heard though you can just squeeze right here for
Sure.
some belty notes, like
Okay.
really upper,
Yeah.
top of your range type of thing.
Okay.
You can squeeze right here.
Yeah.
Do I know how true that is? Not really.
Yeah. Yeah. It's worth a try. It's worth a try. So,
Yeah.
is that your abdomen or more around your?
I think it's just near the at the bottom of your rib cage.
Okay. Okay.
There's sort of
Okay.
muscles that can
Yeah.
push on the diaphragm as well.
Okay. Yeah.
Because to get higher notes,
Mhm.
you have to speed up, increase the velocity of the vibration of your vocal cords.
Sure.
Which means more air has to pass over it, but it
Yeah.
also has to be really a light air. I
Okay.
think, to a certain degree,
Sure.
which is weird to think about.
Yeah.
But how
There-
do you make that happen?
Yeah, exactly. There's so many philosophies on that, and I'm not. I think that one could very well be valid. I'm interested in checking that out.
I think what makes a good tone vocally is just being in the right headspace,
Oh yeah,
like mental
yeah,
space.
yeah,
And you
yeah,
just,
right.
I just sing.
Yeah,
That's all I do. I don't
just
think
let
about
go,
it.
yeah.
I just open my mouth.
Yeah.
And I express these words with a tone.
Right.
And a phrase.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden it just sounds beautiful.
Yeah.
So all that thinking, which I do
Right.
too much of,
Yeah,
gets in the way
Absolutely.
of a great performance.
yeah, and clearly practicing, just monotonous practicing too, to where it's just second nature. You're not, because I don't think that happens the first time. I think that happens with a lot of practice, but
Yeah,
there-
unless you're one of those few.
yeah, I guess so. But
Like Whitney Houston, I guess, was just a
Oh,
natural from the
yeah,
get-go. She
right.
worked ridiculously. She was always working at
yeah,
it, but
yeah. She did have
I
an
don't wanna-
incredible voice. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
yeah, she worked really hard.
Yeah,
Don't
exactly.
get me wrong.
Yeah, I think that was. I think that I would be completely
She's one of my
surprised if she was just like, oh no, I just woke up and could sing like this. I'd be like, no, I'm sorry, I don't believe
Yeah.
that.
She's one of my
Um,
favorites.
Yeah.
Who's
Another
your favorite vocalist right now?
That's a really good question. Favorite vocalist right now.
Or just like somebody from the top 5?
Yeah, I mean Stevie Wonder. I think he's flawless. I've never heard him hit a wrong note. It just seems to me that he couldn't hit a wrong note if he tried. He just has just because he's been at it since he was 11. It's like the monotonous practicing. It's just I would imagine that his practice schedule is probably incredible.
Mm-hmm.
So he's definitely one of them. Who else would I say? I don't know if he's still alive actually, but shoot, is a Pakistani singer. Jeff Buckley was a big fan.
Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan.
Yeah, exactly. I think he is still alive, but I mean he has an incredible range and such control, and it's that Eastern style. But he can hold those notes for such an amount of time that just, it's like there's the control. I mean, control has so much to do with breath, with controlling the airflow, right? And he has such a great control of and he's also a lot of the time like sitting down when he's singing too, which
he's
is
kinda
never
like
really a great
Job
idea.
of the Hutting.
Yeah.
All this beautiful
Right,
music.
Right, yeah.
Like, how are you doing that? And he
Yeah.
gets that gravelly,
Yeah.
that fry in there
Right,
too,
right.
on those upper notes.
Yeah.
I'm just like,
Yeah.
yeah, he is incredible.
Yeah. A third person I would say, I don't know, I can't remember her name, but Feist.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, she just holds, her vibrato is so incredibly controlled and strong.
Yeah.
I haven't,
You know what's interesting? Before she did the album, what's it called? With
the one with 1, 2, 3, 4.
yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently
I have
she
that one, but I don't know.
she had something go wrong with her voice.
Oh, wow.
And she was told to take 6 months off. And then she came back and
Oh, she
started
actually
recording
did
this
take six
Yeah.
months off. Okay. Wow. Okay.
That song too, I think it's called The Park.
Okay.
And it sounds like she recorded it outside and you
Uh-huh.
hear birds and whatnot.
Yeah,
Sounds
yeah,
like
yeah.
she recorded it
Right.
just in a microphone outside.
Yeah.
That's on that album,
Yeah.
that's the best vocal take.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I can see why they used it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You can't get better
Right,
than this.
right,
It was
yeah,
perfect.
yeah, yeah.
And her vibrato,
Yeah.
it's stunning.
Yeah,
It's just
yeah.
awe-inspiring.
I like the first. I think that's an album where every song is good. There's not. I don't skip any of the songs on there.
Something about I Feel It All too has amazing energy to it.
I completely agree.
I don't know why.
Yeah. The one, 1, 2, 3, 4 did get overplayed. So that one, if I did have to skip one, it would be that one. But
And isn't that funny?
without that, if it wasn't for the like Apple commercial and that kind of ruining it, then I think I would probably love that song. But I do have a big aversion to using numbers in songs. Like if someone was like calculating pi.
You hate 8675309.
Well, no, that one's good because that's interesting and that's actually a story.
Yeah.
But so 1, 2, 3, 4.
I declare a thumb war.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of like that. There's also a Wilco song where Jeff Tweedy said 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Dun, 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 and I was just like, dude, you're like
Called him up, Jeff.
Yeah, I was like, dude,
Bro.
I've always thought your lyrics were so good until you did that because he also has. One of my favorite lyrics of his is the ashtray says you were up all night. And I'm just like that. I'm in.
Yeah.
The ashtray says you were up all night.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's good. That's visual. I love visual lyrics that put me in a place.
Man, I heard, I was listening to Bob Dylan and I heard this Bob Dylan song. I'm like, oh my God, that's Wilco right there. I think it's I Want You.
Okay.
It was one of them.
Sure.
And the phrasing and how everything.
Yeah.
Oh, I can see.
Yeah.
They've sort of brought that style.
Sure.
Into a new era.
Yeah. That they like Uncle Tupelo was of course before them, but yeah, they kind of brandished the whole alternative country rock kind of thing. And Bob Dylan was probably the one really starting that whole movement. He probably is because man, he was such a genre jumper. He really was. That's the thing. Yeah. Him and he doesn't get put in that category with like David Bowie and Madonna as kind of genre jumpers, but he really should because if you look at Bob Dylan, I think just the difference is he, maybe his singing voice, like David Bowie has a beautiful singing voice as a difference. But, David Bowie would always like recreate himself, like all with these characters and kind of the music. He was in funk and rock and, folk. So he kind of did that. Dylan did, definitely did the folk thing, definitely did the rock thing. Definitely did some country.
Yeah, Bowie just had a better fashion sense.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
He's just more photogenic.
Yeah, totally.
And that's why it was so.
Yeah,
it was much more apparent.
Right.
I mean, he created the mullet.
Yeah, he pulled it off. He looks great with it too.
Yeah, no, it was a part. There was definitely a party creepy in that back. Yeah, for sure.
Right. Yeah. But
no, Dylan, you're right though. He changed so much.
Yeah.
Well, and after him, lyrics were important.
Right. Yeah.
Because before that, it was all love songs.
Yeah.
Unless you were playing the blues.
Sure,
but even the blues.
Sure. Right.
I mean,
she left
you could
me.
feel. It could feel kind of cliche.
Yeah.
But damn, when you hear Elmore James.
Mm-hmm. Oof.
I don't know. Dust My Broom doesn't feel cliche at all.
No.
That song is great.
Oh man.
Sky is Crying.
Oh my
is
gosh.
my jam.
Woo!
Shake Your Money Maker.
That almost gives me chills just like thinking about those. Like his delivery. Where was that? I wanna know, where was that mic placed? Where was he? Was he just eating it? Because the same thing with Muddy Waters too. It just sounds like they're just eating that mic, and the distortion is so perfect.
Yeah, and I miss.
So perfect.
I want that more on records nowadays. I don't really like the separate tracks as much.
Yeah,
there's something.
Yeah.
Just great musicians in a room.
Right.
One microphone.
Yeah.
Ain't no mountain high enough.
Yeah.
One microphone.
Yeah.
All that stuff.
Right.
It's kind of all you need.
Yeah, Johnny Cash was definitely that guy. I mean, especially early stuff. It's just Elvis's stuff early on was just that way. I mean, that's like they didn't have a whole lot of choices. It was like, you got to capture this with the band in the same room. Like, we don't have another room we can really put you in.
I know. I wonder how that would have felt to hear Elvis for the first time too.
Yeah,
that must have been amazing. That guy.
Yeah.
That voice.
Yeah.
That must have blown people away.
Sure.
And all of a sudden you see a picture of him and he's really handsome.
Yeah,
like,
right. Yeah. Like, how much grease does that guy have in his hair? I got to do that. Damn.
Yeah, can I just like squeeze some of that out for my car?
Yeah.
little squeaky.
Yeah. No, you got to go to
Just rub your head against my door jamb.
next time you go to Nashville, what we should do is we should do a road trip to Memphis and go to Graceland. It's really, really interesting. Some of the things I don't want to spoil it because I do legitimately want to do that because I think you'd really like it. And also Sun Records you'd love Sun Records as well.
Yeah.
But one of the things that I found astounding is that Elvis, early in his career when he was like really taking off, he was doing 2 to 4 shows a day. He would do like matinee shows. And then he would do shows at night too. Like, can you imagine doing like a day? Like, I can imagine doing that like on a weekend. I've done 2 shows on a Saturday or something, and it's great. You're kind of beat the next day.
Not if you're doing drugs.
Well, that's the
right?
reason.
Weren't they
That's the
doing
reason.
uppers, amphetamines?
Yeah. That's the reason why. It was because he couldn't. Yeah, you couldn't. He wasn't at first. It wasn't until they were like, "Hey, man, you look tired. Here's this.
Yeah,
Keep it going."
Any other context, that would just be a terrible human being.
Right. Yeah.
Kind of a deal.
Yeah.
Oh, you're just a bag of shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you're
Yeah.
doing amphetamines all day.
Right.
And not really paying attention to what's important.
Right.
You're not settled down. You don't have a family.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
just
Right.
running around.
Yeah.
Chasing tail, making money, and popping pills.
Now that I think,
But it's Elvis.
right,
You know that
yeah,
beautiful voice, and we forgive you.
right. Well, now that I think about it, I think it's the second episode of the new season of Black Mirror. They have the 3rd season out now, and I kind of told you like I thought it wasn't as quite as deep in the psychosis as the other ones have been. Like as yeah. Is that I think is that a fair way of saying it? Like that show is like very.
Man, I've just watched some episodes, and they hit you at a core level.
Are the new ones or the older ones?
The ones I saw were older ones.
Okay.
The one where that kid was on the internet and got to a porn site, and then somebody
let him know that it was illegal
blackmailed
what he was
him.
doing. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. That's like
or the one where the 2 women are falling in love in a virtual setting.
Oh,
when
yeah.
they're much younger.
Yep.
That was really beautiful.
That was beautiful. I agree. Yeah. You could
The symbolism
upload your mind basically.
Yeah.
But there's a new one, and I don't. I guess I'll just give it away. Like, so if someone hasn't watched it,
I've heard about the fighting one.
No, this one actually has Miley Cyrus in it. I'll try not to give away too much, but basically what I'm now realizing, because what I really like about the show is it makes you kind of like, what was that about exactly? That's what I do after them. Like I kind of let it marinate and kind of sift on it for a little while. With that one, I was kind of like, whoa, that seems so simple, like that, especially the ending. But now I'm kind of realizing, I think that's what they're kind of saying is this is what happens to pop stars. Like with you pointing that out about Elvis, they make it like these executives make it okay to do that to these people. I don't know if that, happens to Taylor Swift or anything. But
there's a formula, and the formula involves just a sort of breakdown in their just lifestyle where they're just following a really unhealthy lifestyle.
Yeah, well, but also these executives who are like, we got to keep this person alive and keep them awake and keep them looking good all the time. We kind of like have to make a doll out of them. They kind of made a doll out of Elvis, make him look good and presentable all the time, but he's on all these drugs and uppers. No one can know about that. Keep that hidden, right?
I know. Would it have been nowadays? This
hidden?
is the 50s, right?
Yeah, so right. Yeah.
Let's just not talk about.
Yeah.
But he was sort of controversial, though.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, with the hip shaking. Yeah. Right.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
Oh, he was shaking his hips.
Right.
Yeah. Hip shaker.
Yeah. I know that is definitely funny.
Thrown behind bars.
Right.
You can shake your hips all you want behind bars.
Yeah. All right. Go ahead. Sorry.
What were we talking about? The celebrity.
Yeah, I was just now I'm kind of realizing what I think they were saying is there's this whole pop star life that is all hidden because all we see is the glamour and stuff, but we don't see. And that even Lady Gaga put out. I watched her documentary, which I thought was like I really appreciate it because she shows like how much pain she has, like severe back spasms and back pain all the time, but she still does shows and stuff, but she's like has to take pain relievers and get massages
Cortisone
and
or something.
and the way she exercises, she has to be careful and all that. And and even when she does her dance routines, she has to be really careful and cognizant of the moves she does, I guess.
That's
But
one of the best things I've gotten from listening to podcasts is I'll listen to stuff with big name celebrities
yeah,
and they'll open up about their
yeah, right,
insecurities. And
yeah,
you're like,
yeah,
oh
yeah,
my God, they're
yeah,
just
right,
deeply flawed people who have a
exactly,
talent
yeah,
that has
right,
jettisoned them
yeah,
into that
yeah,
upper echelon
yeah,
where they can get all the notoriety
totally,
and then get money from it.
right,
But at the end of the day, they're just as
right.
effed up
Oh
as
yeah,
anybody.
oh yeah, maybe more,
Maybe,
maybe
probably,
more,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
because
whatever your problems are, it's going to be
yeah,
amplified.
especially if you want acceptance all the time.
Oh,
If you
God.
want acceptance all the time, then it's gonna be worse because you're trying to like hold yourself to this standard that you can't actually achieve, right? Because everyone is gonna see the flaw and everyone's gonna point it out and everyone's gonna be unsatisfied with who you are, especially when you're on that pedestal and you're that platform. And that's also why, not I'm plugging Lao Tzu again, but that's why I've really enjoyed that because I'm like, I think everyone, maybe not everyone, but a lot of us have these illusions of grandeur, like early on in our career, like, oh yeah, I'm going to play stadiums and whatnot. And some people still do, and that's cool. Thankfully I've never really had this stadium, dream, but of course, like, you do want to go up the tier, however you
You want
think of
to
that.
make a living doing it.
To an extent, I want it to be added on to the living I'm already making. I really enjoy being a teacher, so I want music to give me some extra income as well. Which it does. I'd like for it to be a lot more. Now that I'm feeding another mouth, but yeah, and also the ability to kind of do it within reason whenever you want. Like you can kind of pick and choose when you play shows, right? And that's the nice thing about that. But anyways, Lao Tzu, he talks about being in the shadows. Don't worry about notoriety and those things. And that's one thing that's really been sitting in with me recently is like, yeah, I don't need to worry about getting press on a song or whatnot. Like that's not because it's probably not gonna actually get me anywhere. It's probably not like even if I got asked to play a festival I really wanted to play, then I've played that festival and I've achieved that goal. But where am I going after that? And that was the goal I had. I achieved it. It's over. There's nowhere else. Where am I going? Play another festival and then that's achieved. And then
Yeah. I think what it made me think of is perhaps what's better is to set up a framework of constraints
Sure,
and work
yeah,
within that.
sure,
Because again,
yeah,
I just want to go back to that idea of
yeah,
put the work in. Because
yeah,
that's what's
yeah,
going to be really
right,
satisfying.
yeah, absolutely.
Like I really like to
Yeah.
write poetry,
Yeah.
and my brother and I are into sonnets.
Okay.
And there's something so satisfying about 14 lines.
Yeah.
The 3 stanzas and then that couplet at
Yep.
the end.
Yep.
And because you have those constraints, it
Right.
forces you to be more creative.
Yep.
And maybe that's the key
Yeah.
for all these endeavors is
Sure.
notoriety. I definitely want it.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
It'd be nice.
Yeah.
But I like the satisfaction of completing something too.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Actually,
yeah.
with music, it's more about just playing music with other people. It's
Sure.
so much
Sure.
fun.
Yeah. I completely agree. Yeah.
And especially after you've put in the work.
Right.
Actually, the older I get, the less I like jamming.
Yeah. I
I
agree.
really don't.
I agree.
I was hanging out with somebody
Yeah.
the other day, like,
Yeah.
oh, we should just jam.
Yeah.
And it's just aimless.
It's almost like a word it's almost like a word that makes me cringe a little bit.
Yeah.
Because I used to say that all the time. Let's jam, man.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, no, I don't. I want to write a song. If we're gonna get together and do something, let's actually work towards a song that we might let other people hear. you
Yeah.
know?
Or practice that song.
Sure. Yeah.
And
yeah,
let's
yeah.
just practice
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
heck out of it
Yeah.
until it's
yeah.
done.
Yeah. Right.
That's the best feeling.
Yeah. Totally. Yeah.
Yeah. When you don't even have to think, you just get up on
Right.
stage and you just
Yeah.
play a song
Yeah.
and you connect with it. Everybody's connect with it.
Yeah.
That's a great feeling.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Playing on stage.
Yeah.
a set that is really fine tuned
Yep.
and feeling good about it and
Yeah.
getting something out.
Yeah.
Did you ever find that you played a better show when you're in a shitty mood prior to the show?
I have actually. Yeah.
And then
I've
if you
had that
show up and
experience,
you're
yeah.
feeling great and on cloud nine,
Uh-huh.
show's kind of, it's good, but
I don't know if I had the opposite effect. I mean, it's very possible, but I can't like put my finger on that exact thing, but I know, and I think I took that mentality from, I remember, in high school and older, I think when I was a freshman, this senior football player, he was just an incredible athlete and a friend, and he's still a friend today. But he was just a ridiculous athlete and super nice guy. And I remember him saying, and he said this in a jokingly way, but he did actually do this. But he would get in a fight, and he told his girlfriend too, like, "Hey, we need to get in a fight today because there's a football game because I need to be angry." He would like provoke her to get him mad, so he could be angry for that game, and he would play super pissed off. Like she, I don't know what, he never told me like what it, like she told him she cheated on him or something. I don't know. Or like,
your new hair color, I don't like
yeah,
it.
or that, or maybe she just says like, "Hey, Johnny over there is looking good," and he's like, "Oh man, it's over. I go, and then he's like, "Got to go to the game now," and he's just
She's
ready
on the
to
other
tear,
side
yeah,
making out with another player
yeah,
and looking
yeah,
at him
yeah,
while the guy's kissing her neck.
yeah,
And he's just on the
Right,
other side,
yeah.
a bloodshot,
Yeah,
just red faced.
And
About to
and he
kill.
runs back a kick, right? He scores a touchdown.
Best game of his life.
Yeah.
What's this, Johnny? What's the secret to your success? My girlfriend will cheat on me the day before with the opposite team,
That's
the
actually-
entire team,
that's
and
actually-
I kill them.
I put old Bob over there in the hospital. But no, it's actually not
Shouldn't
a
have
bad.
touched her, Bob. Shouldn't have touched her.
It's not a bad idea for a story, actually, for like or a music video, actually, like a music video where
Yeah.
remember that, I think it was Nada Surf, that band,
Popular.
yeah, that video for
It's a
that.
good song,
It is
too.
it is a good song. But anyways, sorry, let me actually answer the question. Yeah, so back to the question. Yes, I have, like, so that's one thing I've basically experimented with, like being angry and playing the show. It depends on the music. Like if I'm doing an acoustic show, it's not gonna like serve me very well if I'm angry, because I don't want to exude that to the crowd. So I don't do that. I usually try to be more in a like more free and nonchalant. And the acoustic shows that I've done this year, and some of last year, like, yeah, especially this year, I felt more comfortable than I ever have, because I've kind of gotten this place where I free myself and just don't care. And I do care to an extent, but just,
I know what you mean.
Yeah, you know what I mean. So, but I also I start cracking jokes and they're bad, and I just tell them like, yeah, I'm not a comedian. I'm not funny. I'm into awkward humor. And then there's silence, and then the people are like, so it's just, or my go-to is always like, yeah, the water's really good here, and that almost always works. So I just do those kind of things. So I try to be in that kind of a mood, just a goofy mood in an acoustic show, and that's that's kind of, so I think of it in characters. With the rock Wes, I did really enjoy getting all worked up and angry before the show, because I want it to feel angry. I want the distortion to just be as nasty as possible, and all those power chords and all those riffs to just be shredding, So yeah, I would get angry before, and that's pretty easy for me to get angry, go to an angry place. So
Well, sometimes though I would also show up in just in a bad mood.
sure,
Not
sure,
necessarily
sure.
angry,
Yeah.
but
yeah, right. Yeah.
sort of distracted.
Right. Yeah.
And for whatever reason, actually what it was always anxiety.
Sure. Yeah.
Anxiety always was the best
yeah.
fuel
Right.
for a great show.
Yeah.
Or just a great performance,
Yeah.
like an acoustic show.
Yeah.
Just being all worked up.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason,
Yeah.
I think the getting free comes from a movement
Okay.
of the body.
Yeah,
Even
yeah.
though I've seen so many performers who could stand like a statue and give a great performance.
Sure. Yeah.
There's something for me where if I just start moving a little bit
Yeah.
more,
Yeah. Yep.
it sets me free.
Oh yeah.
I don't know exactly why that is.
Yep.
Maybe again it's the placebo.
Sure. Sure.
I could just convince myself. of
Right,
that.
right, right. Yeah. Yeah, I see that. Right on, man.
But I do look for those nights.
Yeah.
I miss it actually. I haven't performed in a while,
Yeah.
and I do miss
Yeah.
performing.
You're a good performer. There's
Oh, thanks,
no
man.
doubt. Yeah.
Thanks,
No
man.
doubt. Yeah. I've never seen you play a bad show. And I that is something that I have visually noticed is that you do physically get into the music, and that's how I think you always did a really good job of selling it that way by physically moving and get into it. When we played music together in bands, that's one thing I always like. Damn, this dude's like he's feeling it, because you're just over there especially when you had longer hair, you're just in the groove and just feeling it. And that's I'm a bit more rigid. So, I have moments where I can be, hopefully, dance around, move around a little bit more. But it is hard to move around and sing at the same time. It's
Well,
difficult.
but that's the thing is where all your energy comes out of your voice.
Yeah.
That's a great thing.
Sure.
Like it's all coming out of your voice, man.
Yeah.
It comes across
Yeah.
really directly.
Huh. Okay.
It's powerful too,
Sweet.
man.
Yeah. Right on. Is there anything else you want to jump into?
I don't know.
Okay.
It's been a good talk though.
Sweet. Yeah, no, I agree. I really appreciate you doing this. This is great. And I appreciate the tips as well. It's really helpful. I mean, cause I've only got 2 pairs of ears, so any other ears I can get, but,
Oh, you gotta keep doing this.
The thing,
I mean, so many people.
Yeah,
this area that
no,
you could talk to.
I agree. I've already got, so I've got like 5 more lined up. So yeah, and I didn't know how this would go, but I know I'm having a blast with it, and it feels so good to have like a legitimate, genuine conversation, face to face, and just kind of shoot the shit and just enjoy each other and spread some knowledge, and hopefully people will get get inspired by it and want to be creative and find time to be more creative. One thing I was thinking about today is, I don't know. I know that there's a time and place to kind of chill out and watch a TV show, and that's good and fine. But one thing I was thinking about today is I don't want to remember myself. I don't want to like think back at my life and think like, oh, I wish I would have watched more TV. I wish I would have like finished that binge watching whatever, because I see all and I don't want to down anyone like binge watching anything. I think that's do whatever you want with your life.
People are just exhausted at the end of the day.
Exactly. Yeah. And it could, I know that there have been times when I've watched something and got super inspired to do something, I think that's a bit more rare for me personally, but
well, we might also just have sort of a sickness. That feeling.
Sure. Yeah.
A lot of people don't give a shit.
Yeah.
And I don't mean that in a bad way
Yeah.
either.
Right,
They're
yeah.
like, look, I went to work.
Yeah.
Come back, hang out with my family or whomever, and we're gonna watch some TV.
Yeah.
Because I got to get up tomorrow.
Right. Do the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Again. Yeah.
I did my chores too.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But I think you and I just have a sort of a sickness where we just need to keep.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a bad way to put it, but it's.
No, I don't think of it that way. Yeah. I think I know exactly what you're saying. Yeah. Well, and both of us are getting more into running and exercising, which I know.
I think it's the same thing.
Yeah.
I think it's that pursuit is the same thing.
Okay.
It's just trying to push yourself.
Yeah.
But filling the void with it.
Yeah.
I don't even know what that means, filling the void.
I do.
You know what I mean? But at the same time,
because we all have a void. No one on earth, whether they like it or not, I'm about to make an astounding statement.
Uh-oh.
No one knows why we're here. No one does.
Yeah, and that's what I think great art does. Is it's actually mimetic. It does reflect back to us the fact that we don't really know.
Yeah.
Great art hits you with a great mystery.
Yeah. Ooh,
and you get
beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah, you get a feeling.
Yeah.
Of the ambiguity of life.
Oh yeah.
Because more issues I get into, the older I get, I see there's 2 sides. There's multiple sides to it, and they're both very powerful.
Right. Yeah.
You just kind of tend to pick a side to it.
Yep.
And then the meaning of it all.
Yeah.
It's really ambiguous.
Yeah.
It's up to interpretation.
Right.
But it's also objective.
Yep. Yeah.
It's like a wave and a particle kind of a thing
Ooh,
at
yeah.
the same time, right?
Yeah. Right. There's some gems in there. All that whole last statement was really good. Yeah, I like that.
I get some notoriety
Yeah.
for it. Maybe.
All right.
No, but yeah, I think honestly, I like the idea that put the work in.
Yeah.
That's what's
Yeah.
satisfying.
Yeah. Yep.
Because the fruits, I think there'll always be fruits of labor.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Because I think what happens to a lot of people is they just give up.
Yeah.
Like I definitely gave up
Yeah.
on music. I
Sure.
stopped writing,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know if I'll ever start. Yeah, I haven't written a song in a long time. I've been trying to learn some covers, but
Mm-hmm.
like the fire is not there like it used to be.
Hmm.
Because it was intense for
Yeah,
a
yeah,
long
right,
time.
right,
man.
right.
It was intense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Remember that practice space we had
Yeah.
off Elliott?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I would just sit in there
Yeah.
for hours with that Korg tribe, the Elect tribe.
Oh yeah. That thing was awesome.
And I could
Yeah.
sit there
Yeah.
for hours
Yeah,
and
yeah,
tweak with
yeah.
it and make.
Right.
Yeah, it did make some.
There were some good beats in there. Yeah.
Remember that one? There was that one beat, and that
Yeah.
guy came over and knocked on the door.
Yeah. Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that place. That's a dry cleaners now. That's the one you're talking about.
Yeah.
No, that place. There was something about. And this is like placebo again. Actually, there's probably nothing about that place. It was us, really. It was us. But yeah, that was. I mean, I wrote an entire record. I wrote 13 songs, at least 13 songs. I'm sure I wrote more.
Dude, you did that album with Gareth too.
Yeah, true.
Which was
true.
dope.
Sure, thank you. Yeah.
That was a great.
Yeah, so I mean that place was wildly productive for me, and I don't think it was necessarily the space. It was cool being by those train tracks, but I think it was more of just like also the routine. Like we were pretty routine about going over there every day, right? I mean, I went over there every day after work.
I think we fueled each other's fire.
Yeah,
too.
yeah, exactly.
I
Lennon
think
McCartney thing. Yeah.
And Gareth was
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Who else? I met that one bassist guy.
Yeah.
And that fell apart quickly.
Yeah. I don't recall his name right now. But he's Eugene. Yeah, he's a
Was it
really good
Eugene?
bassist. Yeah, he's a really good bass player.
You know where I was the other day was on 11th near Crybaby Studios.
Oh yeah.
I was at Grimm's.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
it was Grimm's back in the day. It was like the Butterfly House.
Okay.
Now it's this
Yeah.
party destination. It's weird. That whole
Right.
street.
I know that
That
street has
street was
changed
dead
major.
when we used to do
majorly.
Crybaby Studios.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And
yeah.
now it's the spot.
Oh yeah.
I think Crybaby's still there too.
I think so too. Which I don't understand how it's been able to stay in business with the amount of flooding and just how terrible that place.
Yeah, we
Maybe
got
not
lucky.
terrible, but it wasn't the best management.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Again, the fire was really strong.
Yeah.
And I would just
Yeah.
go do
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
I would just go into
Right.
that
Yeah.
Crybaby studio
Yeah.
a lot
Uh-huh.
and just also had that killer stack too. I missed
Oh
that
yeah.
thing.
Yeah, that was sweet.
Yeah, we got lucky with that flood. I think Michael
know.
and I showed up
Yeah. Yeah.
and after it happened.
Yeah, because
and-
I think you sent me a text or called me at work, and I was just like, oh God, I got to go right now. Like I had to leave early to get my stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, think of all the stuff that got ruined by that. That would
Yeah.
be-
Well, that's kind of the
heartbreaking.
thing is did you guys just find it or did they notarize? I don't think that's the thing is there was no apology or anything from the management. They were kind of just like, oh, this is a thing that happens sometimes. It's like, okay, well then I'm
you
sorry.
sign the
Yeah.
lease and it says,
Yeah.
look, hey, if you read page 10,
If you read the
line
very small print, yeah,
271.
right, yeah,
flooding
yeah,
happens.
right.
Get ready.
Yeah, and we don't notify you. So, yeah, and we
Sorry.
don't. We also don't apologize. That's it.
Get renter's insurance.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Hope you
was
don't
a
have
good
a show that night it floods.
It was a good space though. The
Yeah,
high
yeah.
ceiling was nice.
Yeah, totally. Yeah,
Man, what was
Yeah.
the best space I've ever had? I'm trying to think.
yeah. That was a good period. Just a good period of music, like to get me involved in the scene in Seattle and everything. I think I would almost call that like a mecca because the Comet Tavern was still like a really good place to play,
Yeah.
and you don't no one plays there anymore. Like there might be one show a month there now.
Yeah, there was a show every night.
Yeah, exactly.
Comet.
Yeah. And there was something super weird about the vibe of that place, but I loved it.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever played a bad show there. It's just that place had so much strange energy, but it was such a there's something about it special, very special.
I know.
Yeah.
What else was a good venue? I'm trying to think of back in the day. Uh,
There was that one two-bit saloon in Ballard, which I don't know, I don't know that I'd call it a good venue, but it was a venue.
I had good times at Daryl's.
Yeah. Daryl's great. Actually, playing Daryl's Waterpenny's playing Daryl's 2 Thursdays from now. Yeah.
Dope.
Yeah. So that should be fun. That place is great. It's the vibe there is just fantastic. Yeah. Dan's such a nice guy. The sound is always good. Yeah, you got a interesting crowd. So yeah.
Yeah, it's not a tall stage. Tall stages can be kind of weird.
Yeah. You're like you're reigning over people. You're looking down at them. I've never been a crazy fan about that. I almost think it should be the opposite. I think people should be looking down at you.
I think it could be beneficial if you were Justin Bieber to be up high.
If you're is he short?
No. It's more like people are just
Yeah.
crazy for him.
Oh, sure. I could say, I thought maybe it's
gotta
like
have
a short
distance, right?
reference. Like it's like he's 4'6", so you're like, yeah, it's beneficial for him.
Dude, I can't stop singing "Love Yourself."
Who's that by?
Well, Ed Sheeran wrote it, but he did.
Oh, okay.
He did a cover of it.
Yeah.
It's a really fun song to sing.
Right on.
That's something too. I thought we could talk about. I'm so all about the song,
Yeah.
and I feel like from amongst our group of friends, I'm the most likely to listen to something like "Love Yourself" or something that's a little more poppier.
Sure. Yeah.
And for me, I was also raised by a mom who's really into musicals, and then just the oldie station.
Okay. Yeah.
Which always had the same playlist no matter where you went. So I know
Seems
all
like it still
those
does.
playlists.
Yeah.
Like CCR.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah. Right.
But the song,
Yeah.
I can forgive any sort of production value or sentiment, and it could be cheesy as heck.
Yeah.
But if it's a great melody,
Yeah.
it's a great melody.
Yeah. Yep.
At the end of the day.
So
And the Love Yourself song has a great melody.
Yeah. So I completely agree. That's my thing too, is I think I do believe in overproduction. I think things are overproduced. I think Pet Sounds, I think that album I think they got really lucky because, like Brian Wilson would do like 400 takes of stuff. That's 100% excessive to me. Like takes the fun out of it.
Yeah, there's a lot of obscure instruments on I Just Wasn't Made for These Times.
Sure.
But that's such a great...
Right.
That chorus
Yeah.
is so good.
Yeah. So that's what I'm getting at is I think he was in such a great place. He wrote a really good album first, then he produced the shit out of it, right? And but I guess what I'm getting at is I think that's really the only album. Like I think there's times where you don't have a great song, but yet you can make this production out of just a crappy idea or something. I think that happens sometimes. But
most music on the radio.
but I guess that's what I'm getting at is like I agree with you. I think you have to have a legit and strong song first, and I'll listen to a crappy recording of a song with terrible production over like a song that's overproduced any day. It's kind
But
of
what makes the great song great?
Yeah.
That's what I don't,
Right.
I don't know.
I think it's the melody. I think it's the feeling. I think we've talked about this. It's kind of this mystic feeling. Like you've made this statement before, and I really latched onto it. I didn't get that feeling from that song, and you don't have to explain to me what that feeling is. I know what it is. It's like the chills. It's almost like the thing. It's like the thing you latch onto that you can't really explain, right? And we don't. And that's the thing that makes us unique as humans. Not everyone gets that because if we did, then we would all be worshiping the same song or something, right?
Yeah, and you go back to songs that really got you jazzed when you were younger.
Yeah.
And then you try to listen to them today. I went back to, because I went to a dance night at Chop Suey. They do Dance Yourself Clean.
Yeah. Right, yeah.
Every Saturday they do Dance Yourself Clean. They play that song.
Okay, yeah.
Which is so much fun to dance
Yeah.
to.
Is that an LCD sound system?
Yeah.
Yeah, right, yeah.
And
And
when it drops, oh my gosh, it drops so hard.
Oh yeah, Ashley she she loves that song too, and she was pregnant, very pregnant, and I did this video of her like dancing to that song in a robe. Oh my god, it's so good. She killed it. She killed it. And the fact that she's just huge at that time
Just
too.
own
She
it
was
in the
like, it
belly.
was like the week of her pregnancy, and she was just like completely dancing that song. Is great. Yeah.
Oh, what was I gonna say?
Dance yourself clean. Chop suey.
Yeah. Oh, I heard Block Party, and that
Oh, yeah,
song
yeah, yeah.
or that
Yeah.
album Silent Alarm.
Uh-huh,
I was such a
yeah.
huge fan
Oh,
of
yeah,
it,
yeah,
and
yeah,
I've been
yeah.
listening to it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
actually, I still dig it.
Yeah.
Well, one reason too, I play the drums, and the drums on that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I heard the drummer wrote all the songs too.
Yeah, I think that's right.
They're good.
Yeah, they are good.
They're good.
They
And there's
are
some
good.
really good lyrics in there.
Yeah,
The first
yeah.
album, or the first song,
Yeah.
Eating Glass.
Yeah.
That drink, the lyric is that drink you pour yourself
Uh-huh.
is like eating glass.
Yeah.
Man,
It's good.
if I was dealing with somebody who's alcoholic or I was an alcoholic myself,
Yeah.
that's a powerful line.
Absolutely. It's a powerful for anything, right? I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. It's almost like whatever you're drinking now puts you one step closer to death, no matter what it is, right? I
Yeah.
drink almond milk all day, and it doesn't put me any further away from death, right?
Yeah. Yeah, you just gotta pick your poison, I guess. Oh, but but you could go back to some songs that you were really into when you're young, and do they still get you jazzed? Some of them do.
Yeah.
I had the Blue album, the Weezer Blue album was one of the first CDs I
Okay.
owned.
Yeah.
That's still
Yeah.
that would Buddy Holly. That's
That'll make Patrick Chappelle very happy. He's like the Weezer's biggest fan.
oh yeah. Oh, but what? Yeah, that feeling.
Yeah.
There's some songs that give that feeling to everybody universally.
Sure.
It's sort of undeniable.
Yeah.
But there's some that give a feeling to a marginalized few or a niche.
Yeah.
You could say.
Yep.
I don't want to say marginalized few. Seems
Well,
like
you
the wrong
did,
term,
but
I
yeah,
did.
yeah.
Said.
I got what you're saying. I don't think that'll offend anyone.
Yeah.
Um,
Or if it does, fuck them.
yeah.
But there's. I remember there was a band, Glassjaw, when I was in high school.
Yeah.
And they had an album come out, and I tried to go back to it and listen to it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Or Thursday. That was a big band.
Yeah. That was like emo, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Or
I think emo, that genre in general, would be that feeling for me, where I would go back and listen to it and be like, I'm not sure why I like this.
I heard it started with Fugazi.
Oh, okay.
Emo is
okay.
emotional punk.
Yeah.
And they
okay.
shortened it to emo.
I
And then
s-
it got taken up by bands like Thursday.
Yeah.
Which
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
had like a halftime. They'd always drop into a halftime
Yeah.
feel. And then
Right.
it was sort of a more fluid.
Yeah.
What's that band?
Dashboard Confessional was one of those. They were one of those.
I was big into that
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
He wrote some great songs.
Yeah. No, he did.
But then he got a full band.
Yeah.
And blew up,
Yeah,
and the
right.
music just suffered for it.
Yeah. Right.
But before
Isn't that
that,
interesting? Like, I kind of feel like Jeff Buckley kind of made the statement that's kind of what happened to him when he blew up, and I don't know that the record label, I think they basically pressured him to get a band for the album, and he did, and then it's like, well, now I got to tour with a band. He's got to tour with a band, and he starts to lose that feeling of what he had at places like Chennai and stuff when he was playing to not big crowds, but like more intimate crowds. That like when he was playing Chennai, he was like selling those out, but it was to like whatever 30, 50 people or something.
and just making the most beautiful music
Yeah,
ever made.
exactly. But you can imagine like this is a way different intimacy in that kind of a room than there is how can you be connected to thousands of people in a show? How is that? How can you possibly be connected to thousands of people in a show? I don't think it's possible. I don't think you can.
Yeah, you just gotta. It's like you gotta dive head into some sort of big ego,
Yeah, right, yeah.
or
Which is
you just-
disconnecting.
or you forget.
Yeah, which I
they're
think is
there.
disconnecting.
Or
right?
you just look. I've practiced these songs.
Mhm.
Just gonna go out and play them,
Yeah, right.
and then
Yeah.
or you could adopt a persona where you're
Yeah.
like a James Maynard Keenan, or Keenan,
Mm-hmm.
and you're just
Mhm.
acting out
Sure. Sure.
sort of personality.
Yeah, that's
I don't know.
that's how I like to think. I like to recently. I've been thinking of it that way more, a little bit more. That I'm not. I am myself when I play, when I perform. But but I am a bit more of a character, and I need to be of a character because I need to sell it. Like just me being a person doesn't sell, and also I wouldn't be sold if someone was just like, yeah, I woke up this morning and worked my job and. I'm tired now. Yeah, that doesn't sell me, It sells me if like I got a bunch of energy and I'm like, man, all these gnats just died in my wine. I hope they're not driving home tonight. You know, so
'Cause
so
they're dead.
you see what I'm saying?
Man, I was just thinking that you could kind of sell that. That was like almost a Louis C.K. rock star. Like I'm tired and I'm just gonna play these songs right now.
Yeah.
And then you just kind of play them tired.
That's good.
You just
That's
do
good,
that
yeah.
one song,
Yeah.
I'm So Tired by the Beatles, and that's all you do.
Yeah. They're all just that tempo.
I'm only sleeping.
Yeah. That's good. I like it.
How many other tired songs are there? There's gotta be a set.
There's a Radiohead. I don't think that's the title of it.
Tired of being
but-
alone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just do that,
Yeah.
but really tired.
So tired and tired. Yeah. Al Green. He's not alive, right? He's not alive, is he?
I'm not
think
sure,
so. But if he is, he's definitely one of my favorite voices. If he is alive.
I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
Sam Cooke, I think, is up there as far as the the ideal,
Oh yeah.
because he has it all.
Right. Yeah.
And he, I
Yeah.
mean, Ray Charles, I guess, made a first recording, but
Yeah.
we take for granted how much comes from gospel
Sure.
that we
sure.
love about music.
Yeah. Right.
And primarily, it's vocally.
Yeah.
All that stuff comes from gospel.
Well, yeah.
Singing with that raspy tone,
Right.
the fry,
Yeah.
whatever you want to
Yeah.
call it,
Yeah.
it comes from the church.
Yeah.
And Sam Cooke did it better than anybody. And
Yeah.
there's this album I have called Two Sides of Sam Cooke, and it's got stuff he did with the Soul Stirrers.
Okay.
This song, Were You There?
Yeah. Yeah.
It'll blow you away, man. It's like a rock star singing
Yeah,
a
yeah.
gospel song.
Awesome.
His voice is so insanely powerful.
Yeah. I'd love
But then
to
he
hear
can
that.
do Jesus Gave Me Water.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We talked about this before. Yeah, because I remember singing that song. Because there was a cappella group that did that song that I thought did a really good. Because they did like a 4-part harmony of it. It was really good. But I think when you told me about that, I did go and listen to it, and it is an incredible performance. Singing that song because I also had this preconceived notion because I've heard that song in a 4-part harmony way. So hearing it solo was a way different experience and much more vulnerable. But man, yeah, he does knock it out of the park.
They all sing the melody.
Right.
Because he had a back. I mean, the Soul Stirrers were.
Yeah,
like
but
a
he's
choir
clearly the
doo-wop
lead
group.
vocal, right? Yeah.
Yeah. And he was 18 something.
Oh my god.
He took the lead position at 18.
Wow.
Yeah, from
Yeah.
somebody who was really well established. That band
Yeah.
was extremely well established. And
Yeah,
he
yeah.
stepped in, took him to another level.
Yeah. Wow.
And then realized that he needed to be doing secular music because
Yeah.
that's how he was going to reach a larger audience.
Yeah. Same thing
The
with
rest is
many of
history.
them, like James Brown, right? Similar story.
I heard he stepped into Little Richard's spot
Oh, okay.
because Little Richard found Jesus, threw
Okay.
all his rings in the river,
Okay,
and
yeah,
quit
yeah.
doing music.
Sure. Yeah.
And he was on the Chitlin circuit,
Yeah.
and James Brown was as well, and just stepped into that position.
But James Brown was a gospel singer, though.
I heard,
before
I heard he was a street performer. Like,
Oh.
grew up in abject poverty type deal.
Okay. I
And
thought
just somebody heard him perform
Yeah.
on the streets,
Huh.
and then if you watch that movie Get On Up,
Yeah.
he just went to a club and met Little Richard
Okay.
and befriended him.
Yeah.
I think that's what
Yeah.
happened.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then Little Richard just broke off and
Right.
kind of stepped in that place. And he said he got funk from Little Richard's
Yeah.
horn section.
Okay. Yeah.
For whatever it was, the
Yeah.
way they were playing sort
Yeah.
of infused
Yeah.
what he was doing, and he created one of the best music styles ever.
Yeah.
I feel like he's the ideal.
Hmm.
Michael Jackson,
Yeah.
want to be him?
Yeah. No,
When
I
Michael
agree.
Jackson was
I
11
agree.
years old, you listen to it.
Well, the Beatles did
And
too. Yeah.
I think like everybody did.
Yeah, yeah. Why would,
As far as a frontman goes, who's a better frontman?
Yeah, he was the king. He was the king. I love that. I sent you that video a while ago of that interview when he opened for Chuck Berry, and he was basically like disputing the, he's like, yeah, I'm opening for Chuck Berry, but Chuck Berry is not the king. I am the king. It doesn't matter who's opening or who's closing. It matters because I'm first. This thing, it just goes on this whole thing about, how he was better than Chuck Berry, basically. And he was just so charismatic. And, oh, man, how could you not love it? It's so awesome.
Dude, his dancing style?
Yeah, yeah.
Again.
So much energy, too.
Crazy amounts of energy.
Yeah.
I think that's what it comes down to as well with any sort of instrument is that certain people just can push.
Yep.
Or that's the goal, is to just push an incredible amount of energy through your instrument to the audience.
Yep.
Yeah, and his dancing. So I was actually watching this documentary about Michael Jackson and his transition from Jackson 5 to Off the Wall.
Okay.
So it was about Off the Wall.
Yeah.
But the whole documentary highlighted that transition. And from an early age, he was deadly serious about what he was doing.
Yeah, right.
And he could watch somebody on TV dance a step, and he could
emulate it immediately, right? Yeah.
But James Brown was a huge influence on him. So were people like Fred Astaire and Gene Kelly,
right?
Too, interestingly enough. But his dancing was so powerful.
Oh yeah.
And his music obviously was extremely powerful too. And I think James Brown, that's one thing he didn't have, was a tightly constructed pop song.
Right.
That's just timeless.
That's a good point. That's a really good point.
Because Payback, which is, I love that. That might be my favorite James Brown song. Okay. It's like 6 minutes, isn't it?
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Goes on.
Yeah.
But that scream he has in it,
oh yeah,
it's just the best scream ever.
I know.
And he's just hitting that note that the ladies are singing.
Sure. Yeah.
That's the other thing too with screaming. I think it's just you're just hitting these high notes and just going for it.
Yeah.
And I think squeezing everything here.
Yeah.
And that's what gets you up there.
Yeah.
But yeah, he didn't have anything like Billie Jean.
Yeah. Right. Definitely not. Yeah.
Maybe that's the only reason he's not. I mean, he is celebrated.
Yeah.
He's got to be one of the most influential artists of the 20th century.
Oh yeah.
Hip hop.
Yeah.
James Brown. It's coming from James Brown.
Oh yeah.
Funk.
Yeah.
I mean, Sly and the Family Stone were doing funk.
Sure.
But
yeah.
You think of James Brown when you think of funk.
Oh yeah.
And again, frontman.
Yep.
Who does it better?
Right. Yeah.
As far as dancing and being a showman?
No. I don't. I think he was the master. Yeah. Did you see the documentary that was released about Michael Jackson before he died? The one where he was getting ready for a stage performance.
This is it.
Yeah. Did you see that?
I started watching it. I never finished it.
Okay. It's worth watching. The thing that I found about, because you were mentioning how incredible of a dancer he was, and the thing that I found about that reassured me of that is he's dancing. He's hired these like 18-year-old, 20-year-olds, and they're mostly 20-year-olds, right? Mm-hmm. He's 50, right? Michael Jackson's 50. He is just blowing them away. They can't keep up with him. And that's the thing that I was just like, they're getting interviewed, like, and I don't know, is it a setup? Like, are they BSing? I don't know. It doesn't seem like it. If they are, they definitely like acted very well, because they're just like, I can't believe this guy's 50. Like, I can't keep up with him. They're like saying that type of thing. They're like, he is such an incredible dancer, and he's so innovative in that field that like I have never done these types of moves before. I can't even believe I'm still on this team, like I can't believe he's like hasn't fired me yet.
He's such a master.
Yeah.
It's almost, you maybe just reach a certain level that you can easily channel all the energy into those moves.
Yeah.
It's almost like you can get to this point where you can conserve energy really well too.
Yeah.
Or more easily direct it.
Right.
Yeah, he's a genius.
Yeah. Right on, man. Well, I think this is a good time to probably wrap it up, right?
On that note.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for doing this.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me.
Go.
That was fun.
Later, everybody.
Bye.
I don't care.